Hi, welcome back to the Save It for Parts channel. Today I'm taking a look at this vintage laptop that I picked up recently. It's an Apple Macintosh Portable, and this was a predecessor to the Mac PowerBook, and it's their first Macintosh-based laptop. This particular unit is a model 5120, and these came out in 1989. Since I already have far too many old computers cluttering up my house, I'm probably going to sell this one. These are kind of interesting little computers. The front opens up by pushing on this carry handle, which opens the screen. And it is a carry handle, so when it's all folded up, you can lug it around. Now, it weighs quite a bit, because in the back, this section also pops off if you push some buttons. And there's a 40 meg hard drive and a very large lead-acid battery. Now, the main problem with these units in vintage condition is that the battery is usually flat, and the included chargers are not powerful enough to run the laptop without first charging the battery. Now, this unit comes with an original case, 2 chargers, and 2 batteries, as well as this external battery charging sled. And this is what the lead-acid batteries look like. These put out about 3 amps. Now, unfortunately, the little chargers only put out 1.5 amps. So these chargers by themselves will not power the laptop. You have to have either a charged battery in the laptop to turn it on, or an aftermarket 3 amp power supply, which I have here. Now, it turns out that the best way to turn this on, if it has a battery in it, is to open it up, pop the battery out with these little clips, and then your charger is not trying to charge that old dead battery. Now, you have to put this little battery cover back in place because it has a fin that engages a cutoff switch down below, so the computer still thinks that there's a battery in there. So once you've replaced your battery cover and replaced the rear unit cover and plugged in the 3 amp power supply, now it's ready to be turned on. And according to the instructions, you simply open the lid and push a button to activate it. Now, if that doesn't work, some folks on the internet suggested holding down both of these programming and reset buttons simultaneously to reset the computer, and then pressing a key to turn it on. It takes this thing a minute to start up, and you can hear the hard drive spinning up now. One nice feature of this design is that it has an active matrix screen, and this was a very expensive option at the time. In fact, many of the early PowerBooks didn't come with an active matrix screen. The only drawback to this particular model is that the screen is not backlit, so there's no internal light behind there. You have to read this screen in a nice brightly lit room next to a lamp or a window. And here we go. Here's our Mac desktop. Let's take a look at what this Macintosh has. Now, if I come across any personal information, I'm going to be deleting it because I don't really want to sell this with somebody else's info or old homework on it, even if it's from the 80s. It looks like this is using System 7. I remember that from high school as well. Here we've got some more games. Let's see if there's anything good. Oh, there's quite a bit on here. Looks like mostly casino-type games, although there is a Tetris. I wonder if the keypad is the best way to play this version. I am not used to this ball-style mouse. It is very hard to use after years of using an optical mouse. Again, it's working just fine. I just have to remember to really push it down and slide it around on my improvised mouse pad over here. And now I think I remember why the 90s had so many fuzzy mouse pads. It was to adequately grab and give traction to these old technology mice. It looks like the numeric keypad is what you use for Tetris. That's nice to know that it works. Not that I'm playing very well at all. Normally there would be a built-in trackball here, or possibly over here. Apparently you could switch sides for that trackball. This keypad was an optional extra that you could add on from Apple. Now that did mean that you have to use an external mouse. I've got just a standard cheap Macintosh mouse that uses the Apple Desktop Bus port. Now apparently these have actually been taken into space. If you search around on YouTube, there's a video of astronauts on the shuttle using one of these. It's pretty entertaining to watch them eject a disc as it just flies across the cabin in zero gravity. It has some controls specific to the portable, power management settings. It has some standard Mac applications like ClarisWorks and MacDraw. And other archaeological finds from the 90s like Norton Utilities and Stuffit. This thing is actually in pretty good condition for how old it is. Usually these old Apples start to turn yellow from sun exposure. Now the space bar on this laptop is slightly yellow, and I don't know if that means it's been replaced from something else at some point. The mouse is also a little yellow, and one of the chargers is a little yellow, but everything else still has that original cream color, which is pretty nice. So again, I think I'm going to sell this unit. If you see this video within the first week that it's up, then this is probably on eBay, and you can probably find it by searching on eBay for Save It for Parts. I'm going to include all the accessories I have, meaning 2 batteries, 2 chargers, the external battery sled, the mouse, the case, the laptop, and that 3 amp power supply that actually turns it on. Thanks for checking out my video.